Breaking news, pensioners left reeling as DWP quietly slashes vital benefits without warning. In a move that has left thousands of elderly citizens across the UK stunned, the Department for Work and Pensions, DWP, has quietly implemented sweeping benefit cuts, with no public consultation or adequate warning. 3 essential support payments that many pensioners relied on have been axed seemingly overnight. Most affected individuals only realized what had happened when they noticed their regular payments had dropped, or their bills had increased without explanation. This isn't about minor reductions or long-term reforms, it's a blunt and immediate removal of financial lifelines for some of the most vulnerable people in society. For many pensioners already grappling with rising costs of living and stagnant incomes, these changes could mean losing hundreds of pounds per month, with no immediate alternatives provided. Over the last 5 years, I've been closely following changes to DWP policy through public documents, government updates, and freedom of information requests. And I can honestly say rarely have I seen changes rolled out so quickly, so quietly, and with such devastating consequences for ordinary people. Let's break down what's changed, who's affected, and what you can do if you're impacted. 1. Cold weather payment top-ups axed without notice. The first major cut is the sudden removal of the cold weather payment top-up. This was a safety net designed to provide additional £25 payments during periods of extreme cold, specifically when temperatures dropped below freezing for 7 consecutive days. It was separate from the main winter fuel payment, which is still available, for now. However, this smaller top-up made a huge difference to those living in poorly insulated homes or in colder regions like Northern England, Wales, or Scotland. For elderly pensioners with chronic health conditions or mobility issues, these payments often covered vital heating costs during the coldest weeks of the year. Last winter alone, over 4.2 million households received this support. And yet this year, it's simply gone without clear explanation, without public warning, and without any kind of automatic alternative. The timing couldn't be worse, especially as energy prices remain inflated and colder months are approaching. I spoke to a retired woman in Lancashire who said the extra £50 she received in February helped her keep her home heated overnight during a brutal cold snap. Without it this year, she'll have to choose between running the boiler or putting food on the table. 2. Carers' premium for pension credit silently eliminated. The second cut targets unpaid carers, those quietly providing round-the-clock care for family members with disabilities or severe health needs. The carer's premium, which used to be automatically added to pension credit if you were caring for someone, has been scrapped. This premium provided an extra £38 per week, almost £2,000 annually. It wasn't a luxury, it was recognition. Recognition that full-time carers, particularly elderly spouses or parents, have significantly higher costs and fewer opportunities to supplement their income. The money helped with transportation, medication, care supplies, and sometimes even brief periods of respite care. The cruel irony is that this payment existed precisely because unpaid carers save the government billions every year. Cutting this allowance without a replacement scheme sends a clear and troubling message: your contribution no longer counts. One pensioner from Manchester told me she used that £38 to pay for 3 hours of professional care each week, allowing her to run errands and get groceries. Now, she's forced to rely on neighbors or go without. This kind of cut doesn't just impact finances, it affects dignity and quality of life. 3. Automatic council tax support removed and complicated. The third benefit removal may not be obvious at first glance, but it has major financial consequences. Until now, pensioners who received specific DWP benefits were automatically eligible for council tax reductions. There was no need to apply separately or prove eligibility again to their local council. But that automatic qualification has now been removed. This means that unless pensioners proactively submit an application to their local authority, often requiring new paperwork and proof of financial hardship, they'll lose out. And we're not talking about small amounts here. Some individuals were receiving up to 100% reductions, worth over £1,500 a year. Even partial discounts of 50% saved hundreds. The problem? Most people won't realize this benefit is gone until they open their next council tax bill and are shocked by the increase. Worse still, local councils often use different eligibility tests than the DWP, meaning someone who qualified before may now be rejected based on a different threshold or savings limit. It's an unnecessary hurdle for people who are already struggling to make ends meet. DWP's official reason: simplification or stealth cuts. So, what's the government's explanation? According to official statements, these cuts are part of a broader benefit simplification program designed to reduce overlapping schemes and shift more people to universal credit. But here's the issue: universal credit does not provide equivalent support in most of these cases, especially for older people who are no longer expected to work. I ran calculations using DWP's own online tools. The result? A typical pensioner household losing all three of these benefits could see their annual income drop by £12 to £3,400 depending on their circumstances. That's not streamlining, that's slashing. And while the DWP claims these changes will save money, the total projected savings from all three cuts is just £340 million per year, a tiny fraction of the overall welfare budget. Less than 0.3%, to be exact. This isn't a fiscal necessity. It's a calculated decision to reduce spending by relying on confusion and silence. The communication failure is unforgivable. Another major concern is how these cuts were communicated, or rather, how they weren't. Official notices were sent out a mere 6 weeks before implementation, hidden in dense, bureaucratic language that most people would struggle to interpret. I've read some of these letters myself, and they are deliberately vague. Instead of stating, "You will no longer receive cold weather payments," they use phrases like adjustments to supplementary weather-related assistance protocols. It's not just confusing, it's deceptive. It's designed to bury the truth in jargon and hope recipients won't fully grasp the consequences until it's too late. This lack of transparency undermines trust and leaves people feeling abandoned by the very system meant to support them. So, what can you do if you've been affected? If you're one of the thousands impacted by these cuts or know someone who might be, here's what you should do. Contact your local council immediately to inquire about council tax support and apply directly if needed. Do not assume it's still in place automatically. Check your eligibility for carer's allowance if you've lost the carer's premium. While not identical, it may still offer some support. Explore local cold weather or energy assistance schemes through charities, community centers, or local government. Some may have emergency heating funds or fuel vouchers. Visit Citizens Advice for personalized help. Their advisors can walk you through applications and appeals. Help may still be out there, but you have to fight harder than ever to get it. Final thoughts: stay vigilant, stay informed. These changes reveal a harsh truth: benefits you assume are secure can be changed or removed with little notice. Today it's cold weather payments and carers' premiums. Tomorrow it could be something else. That's why staying informed, engaged, and proactive is more important than ever. What's most concerning is not just that these cuts happened, but how they happened. Quietly. Confusingly. Without accountability. The DWP is counting on confusion and bureaucracy to do the work of austerity for them. If this video helped you understand what's going on, please give it a thumbs up so it reaches more people. Share it with friends, neighbors, or family members who might not have heard about these changes. And most importantly, subscribe to this channel to stay updated on the latest developments with DWP, benefits, and support systems that matter. We'll continue shining a light on these issues, breaking down complex policy shifts, and making sure you have the information you need to protect your future.